All right, we got to classify this triangle with side lengths 8, 8, and 12 by angles and sides. So really, we got two problems here. We got to go by angles and we got to go by sides. All right, so let's talk about sides first. That would be scalene, isosceles, and equilateral. So scalene is no sides are the same. Isosceles, two sides are the same. And equilateral, all three. So for this one, it's going to be isosceles, right? All right, we've already knocked out the sides. Now the next one, angles. So angles, we can actually use our Pythagorean theorem, but in a different form where we figure out if they are equal, if we have, the two sides are greater than or if they're less than. So here's what we got. So I'd have a squared, and actually I'd like to go in reverse. I like to go c squared is greater than a squared plus b squared. That's obtuse. If c squared is less than a squared plus b squared, then we have an acute triangle. So all the angles are less than 90. In the obtuse, one of them is bigger than 90. And then if it fits that Pythagorean theorem, if they are equal, then we know it's a right triangle. Okay. So the reason why I like to write the c squared first is when I say c squared is greater than. When I say greater than, I think big, I think obtuse. When I see c squared is less than, I think acute, I think smaller, right? Okay. So now let's plug these things in. Well, 12 is my hypotenuse, so I'm going to have 12 squared. And then I don't know, so I put a little blank or a box or whatever, and I'll have 8 squared plus 8 squared. So I'll have 144, I don't know, and then 64 plus 64. So that's 128, and I got 144. So here I have c squared is greater than, so it is obtuse. So this would be an isosceles obtuse or obtuse isosceles triangle. Okay, it's obtuse, it's isosceles. I've classified it by both the angles, obtuse, and by the sides, isosceles, because two are congruent. Let's try one more. So here I've got classify the triangle with side lengths 5, 12, and 13 by angles and sides. Well, now I already know that this is scalene, right? Scalene because it's got all three sides different. And if I set up my Pythagorean little converse here, I'm going to have 12 squared and 5 squared on the right-hand side. So I got 169, and then I have 144 and 25. If I add those two together, I get 169 equals 169. This is a right triangle. So it's right scalene or scalene right. I got by angles for I got by sides for scalene, and I got by angles because it's a right triangle. It fits the Pythagorean theorem. I joked. We got one more in this one. One more. Classify again. So here I've got 7, 8, and square root of 79. Square root of 79. All right. So what the heck are we going to do with that? Well, first off, square root of 79 is some decimal. It's not a perfect square, right? Square root of 64 is 8. Square root of 81 is 9. So it's somewhere between there, right? So this is definitely going to be scalene. But which one's my c squared? Well, if we go back to what I just said there, I said that this is going to be somewhere between the square root of 64 and the square root of 81, right? So it's going to be between 8 and 9, but closer to 9. So this is going to be larger than 8. So it is my largest side. The square root of 79 is my c, okay? So I'm going to have square root of 79 squared, I don't know, and then 7 squared plus 8 squared. So the square root actually is kind of nice in this sense because those parts just cancel, and I'm left with 79 on this side. I really don't have to do much thinking with that. And then I've got, we got 49 plus 64. Well, I already know that it's going to be this way, right? Because that's over 100. That's going to be 113 over here. So 79 is less than 113. I didn't even need to finish that because we could see it. So this is going to be acute scalene. All right, there's my two classifications. Scalene because it's all three different sides. Acute because the c squared is less than, so I have all acute angles. That was awesome. That was 3 examples there. That was dope. And we did it all without a calculator because you guys are awesome. America Freedom, Rock and Roll Costco, River Dog Jenny on the gram. Deuces.